Honda's got a lot to beat, but if anything can, Iame Bambino can. Darren Dimitrov goes off pole position with Chester Fawkes alongside Albert Farah and James Roots on row number 2. Chloe McGill and Harris Barber on row number 3. Then it's Freddie Baker and William Crombie, Theo Poyser and Ollie Liddell with Max Joy and Charlie Holmes on row number 6. And it's going to be Max Mikalski, Freddie Purnell and Austin Anderson completing your 15-car Iame Bambino final here from Fulbeck. There is Darren Dimitrov on the left-hand side in the number 65 all-black machine. As we await the instruction to start their engines, and almost in unison they get that go-ahead. 5 of James Roots there, just behind Chester Fawkes in the 38. As we get ourselves ready for the second final of the day here then at Fulbeck from round 4 of the Kart Championship. So just having some questions in. Also, what are the yellow numbers and the black number, red and yellow numbers and the black and white numbers on timing? Well, the black and white numbers are those drivers who are signed on as a novice, so it could be their first year in this championship. Not every championship, because Ryan White is signed on as a novice in Honda, and he's done rounds of UKC and British Champs, and so he's rather experienced. It's his first year in this one. As Fenton Stone was also signed on as a novice, but he did win the Motorsport UK British Championship opening round from GYG a few weekends ago, so certainly knows how to drive. Field making their way round, they're not in the correct order just yet, because it looks like Dimitrov was a little bit slow out. He's currently in 4th place, but there's plenty of space here at Fulbeck for the drivers to take their positions and for the anybody else just to roll straight down the middle. So they'll make their way round. Here we go then, rolling into position, standing start. They will come in and their engines will be turned off and then started again like a ceremony as they get the go-ahead. There's Darren Dimitrov rolling in. So I think we're going to have another little poll on the Alpha Live YouTube in the live chat. So we say, what's going to have more overtakes, the finals or Formula One? But I think we can probably get more in this Iame Bambino final. But what are we going to have? More overtakes at the Kart Championship or more overtakes in the Formula One from Silverstone? Let's see whether Iame can add to the tally here then at Fulbeck. Green flag from the back of the grid. 5 seconds on the lights. Iame being held and released. We're away in our Iame Bambino final, and Chester Fawkes from the outside of the front row looks to have had a good start, and indeed he does. And he slots into position in enough time that he can come out and then take the more optimal line into the corner. 42 of Albert Farah, is moving through into 2nd place as well. Darren Dimitrov, the pole sitter, has dropped down into 3rd place. In front of James Roots. It's been a good start as well from Chloe McGill. She's in 6th place, holding on as they bounce their way over the curbs. And 12 of Harris Barber. Keep an eye out for William Crombie, who's had a bit of a tough day so far today, but definitely has front-running pace. Just needs to find a way through in the early part of this, past McGill and a few others, to really insert himself in the mix. Or maybe McGill can go with the leaders in this one. It's been mainly 4 or 5 karts, and then another train of 2 or 3. McGill and Baker were a little bit further back earlier on, but as they cross the line for the first time, it's Chester Fawkes from the 42 of Albert Farah. Farah's going to go down the inside. into the right-hand hairpin at the end of the track. And now it's his turn to lead from Chester Forks, Darren Dimitrov and Harris Barber. Then James Roots and Chloe McGill in front of William Crombie and Freddie Baker. Chloe McGill doesn't seem impressed with William Crombie. Crombie's through nonetheless, but she had the arm off the wheel in the middle phase of the chicane, where you could really do with holding on to both sides of the steering wheel, but clearly upset enough for her to vent her frustration with the driver of the 15. Over start finish, and this time it will be Albert Farrer who leads this race from Chester Forks and Darren Dimitrov. Harris Barber though with the fastest lap in 4th place. Front then of James Roots, William Crombie, Chloe McGill and Freddie Baker rounding out your top 8. They're all breaking away, less than 2 seconds between first down into 8th. Then there's a gap back to Theo Poyser and Ollie Liddell. And then another gap back to Mikowski, Holmes, Joy Purnell and Anderson. Bouncing over the curbs. These karts not seeming to ride them quite as well as they did this morning. Maybe the driver's starting to be a little bit more aggressive as the final comes towards the end. Charlie Holmes with the 60 of the 63 gets a warning. He's in 12th place at the moment. As there's a bit there between Harris Barber and Darren Dimitrov, and then Dimitrov ran wide. Barber can't get through though, and Dimitrov holds on to 2nd place. As the warning being shown to the 63 over the start finish, and Harris Barber is indeed now down the inside of Darren Dimitrov. Took a few corners, but Harris Barber is through and down the inside on Dimitrov. Quick look over the shoulder from Farrer back at Chester Forks. This Iame final for our Bambinos, currently seeing Darren Dimitrov with 74 points, so that's 2 wins and a 2nd place so far for Dimitrov this weekend. Still, this train of 8 karts still circulates within 2 seconds of each other. In the background, looks like Freddie Baker's making a move on Chloe McGill into the first chicane. He is indeed through down the inside. So they bounce their way over. Once again, Harris Barber from 3rd place with another fastest lap of the race. The 2nd time we've seen that so far in this race. First one on lap 2, then on lap number 4 as well for Harris Barber. Still 1.5 seconds splits the train of karts in this Iame Bambino final, and we're only 30 seconds in to what would have been the start of the race. They normally race for 8 minutes, 12 for the final. Harris Barber there showing his displeasure, but I think that was just a bit of a circumstance where he put the nose down the inside and then slowed. And Freddie Baker with another overtake down the inside this time. This time it's on William Crombie. He's up into 6th place. You can smell a trophy here for a top 5, I think, could Freddie Baker. Is down the inside of Chester Forks goes Harris Barber, the fastest driver on track at the moment. He is up into 2nd place, so it's currently Mark Baines Motorsport 1-2 with Albert Farrer and Chester Forks leading the way. And Albert Farrer with the big come on to Harris Barber. Big arm signals, push forward, let's go. Let's try and move away from this train, but it's easier said than done. All he really wants at the moment is for Harris Barber not to try and overtake him for a few laps, and if they can sit together and work. Harris Barber, however, I get the feeling he's not going to want to sit in 2nd place for too long. He's got the pace here as Harris Barber to potentially find a way through and break away. Farrer, Barber, Forks, your top 3. Then Dimitrov, who's been the standout in this class so far today, in 3rd place, or in 4th place at the minute. Then Baker, Roots, Crombie and McGill, still nose to tail. 5 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, so still plenty of time. At the moment, it's just a high-speed train at the moment. The way they're following each other's wheel tracks at the moment, nose to tail, you could almost imagine them stopping at a station on the halfway line. This row of carriages just makes its way round this Fulbeck circuit. In front of them, though, some lap traffic, and they need to find a way through as a train on the lap traffic. It's got to be done on a straight, and it's all got to be done together. And this is where Harris Barber sees an opportunity to try and split. What it will do, though, is now it'll split the field up ever so slightly. The top three have got a bit of a gap as Harris Barber tried to use the lap traffic to his advantage. Split either side between himself and Albert Farah at the front. Harris Barber, Chester Fawkes, second and third. Then it's back to Darren Dimitrov, who's now going to work hard to try and close this gap back up that was caused in finding a way through the traffic. Few tenths of a second for Dimitrov. See if he can get that one back up. I think he has done. And they are slotting in to single file once again. James Roots is out of the slipstream, although I think that's more of a defence to William Crombie. William Crombie's managed to sweep all the way around the outside, though. James Roots loses a place. He is down into seventh. Then it's McGill still on the back of this one, although she's run slightly wide there. She's going to struggle now, because if they stay in a line now for more than a lap, she's going to struggle to stick with. Once again at the front, Albert Farah with more hand signals to Harris Barber. Just trying to let Barber know that this race has still got a long, long way to run. Into the complex, so we've got a spin for the 92 of Freddie Baker from fifth place. The field concertinaing together, and Freddie Baker has dropped away now. Was just in front of William Crombie. Crombie crosses the line in fifth place. Then it's Roots and McGill, but now we've got a split. We've got four at the front, three behind, and a lonely Freddie Baker now in eighth place. Darren Dimitrov down the inside of Chester Fawkes. Has he been sandbagging, biding his time in this Iame Bambino final? And now, will it be the time where he starts to push through this field? Darren Dimitrov, but he's coming under more pressure from Chester Fawkes, and they're going to run side by side round that left-hander, and Fawkes is back through. Dimitrov back down into fourth place. More lap traffic in front that they will catch before the end of this race. Still 2 minutes and 40 remaining as Dimitrov's back down the inside as Chester Fawkes, as Fawkes makes a mistake. Fawkes runs wide. Dimitrov back up into third place. Farah, though, continuing to lead. There's the lap traffic that we spoke about in front. Behind, looks like James Roots and Chloe McGill are going to come through together down the inside of William Crombie, although only Roots is able to find a way through this time. And McGill will now have to do it by herself to find a way past William Crombie. Leaders are up on that lap traffic as they head towards the back chicane, and they're going to meet them in the middle of it as well. Freddie Purnell in the 7 as they run all the way around the outside. Could well split the 2 from 2. Chester Fawkes is through as well. Looks like they've managed to stay fairly close to each other. As they go down the inside of the 63 of Charlie Holmes, and Albert Farah's going to be tight. We could have a bit of a switch back here, and Darren Dimitrov could well take them both by surprise. Dimitrov's on the inside, going to get squeezed across. Harris Barber closes the door. Barber leads, Dimitrov in second, and Albert Farah drops from first down into third. He's challenging back though for second. Back down the inside goes Albert Farah into the right-hander. Dimitrov with the cutback. Now could be an opportunity for Chester Fawkes. If he can sit in the wheel tracks, then Dimitrov might not be able to turn in. Fawkes down the inside, exactly what we were talking about there. He's through up into third place. Dimitrov could not slot back in. Yellow flag out in the background. Not quite sure what we've got there, because James Roots in sixth place. Then it's McGill and Crombie. Keep an eye out for them, although McGill hasn't appeared just yet. There she is with the pink helmet, just in front of William Crombie. James Roots is coming back into this one. There he is in the 5. On the last lap, he was 0.7 of a second quicker because everybody else was battling in front. And he is right on the back now. Out onto the run up towards turn 1 for what will be the penultimate time here in our Iame Bambinos. The next batch of lap traffic is Max Joy, who there he is. They may well not catch. Warning for Freddie Purnell in the 7. He's currently in 13th place. Top 4 still under pressure from James Roots, who's closing in fractionally on the last lap, not quite as much as he did on the previous, but as soon as they start battling on this last lap, and trust me, they'll start battling on this last lap, he's going to be right in the mix for a top 3. Dimitrov down the inside of Albert Farah. Farah not at all happy with that one, and they were battling already. Harris Barber at the front. Farah with his arm off the wheel over start finish. Chester Fawkes is going to come down the inside of Darren Dimitrov into the chicane. James Roots is indeed right on the back of this one now. Harris Barber, look over the shoulder, and at 3 kart lengths he must feel comfortable compared to the rest of this race. Barber leads from Farah, then it's Chester Fawkes, Darren Dimitrov and James Roots, the top 5, split by 1.3 seconds. And Harris Barber's going slowly. Barber's stopping. Your race leader is stopping on the back straight. He had it comfortable, 3 kart lengths, and he grinds to a halt. Albert Farah inherits the victory. The grass takes the brunt of it. Harris Barber in the same place he retired from Heat 3, retires from the final with half a lap to go. And Albert Farah out of the final corner. Albert Farah from Chester Fawkes and Darren Dimitrov are your top 3. James Roots, and then it's going to be Chloe McGill under pressure from a recovering Freddie Baker at the line. Will cross the line for 5th place. Baker in 6th, and then it's going to be William Crombie in P7. Heartbreak for Harris Barber. And I can only imagine, I think the helmet is going to be staying on Harris Barber for a long, long time. But to be fair, he has now taken it off. And he's going to put it back on again because he's still on a live race circuit. But I imagine the disappointment down there, untold for Harris Barber, as Albert Farah takes victory in a sensational final lap here in Iame Bambino.